pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, first ward.
Bill Carlos, second ward.
Ann Berger, 3rd Ward.
Michael Safone, fourth ward.
Ann Church, 6th Ward.
Stefan Cracker, 5th Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk,
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
and
John
Jess
Bailey.
Mooring, Deputy Town Clerk.
John Bailey, Town Supervisor. Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. On tonight's agenda, the first thing on the agenda is a public hearing, tattoo parlors. Second item is a public hearing on stormwater annual report. 3 is accept a grant from the EFC for $691,000 for Spectacle Pump Station. 4 is a notification from the Historical Preservation about 3 milestone markers. 5, appoint Michelle Turk, Deputy Zoning Administrator. 6, approve Marist College Class of 2022 fireworks. 7, Holy Trinity Church Spring Festival. 8, Dutchess County Health Fair at JCPenney. 9, Crunch Fitness 5K. 10, a liquor license, Tylicious at 30 Vassar Road. 11, reappoint plumbing board members. 12, authorize recreation trust fund, Sheaf Road Park improvements. 13, authorize the supervisor to sign water storage agreement, East Fishkill. 14, resolution for a standard work day. 15, a notice of claim for the legal Von Berg, Frieden versus the town. 16, authorize special consent 1, which is a code amendment and zoning in addition of chapter 145, outdoor music, set a date for public hearing for that. With that, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to discuss any item which is on tonight's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here tonight that would like to discuss any item that's on the agenda? Doreen?
Yeah, Jay, I have a question about number 3, the Spack and Kill pump station improvement. So is this part of the consent order with the DEC? Is it those improvements?
Yes, Doreen, that was one of the last items that was not done so far for the DEC, and the consent order was a Spack and Kill pump station, and this is the second grant we've received for that project so far.
Okay. Is there an estimated time when they'll be in compliance with the order?
Not yet, Doreen. I think we'd have to wait till we get the paperwork back from the comptroller's order control, and then put out the bid and stuff to go forward. Probably, I'd say, we're probably looking at start to finish easily another 2 to 3 years by the time to get it up and running.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else that would like to discuss any item on the agenda? If not, motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The first item on tonight's agenda is a public hearing on tattoo parlors. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss the tattoo parlors? No? Come on up, sir.
Come on up.
You want to discuss tattoo parlors? Come on up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a seat next to the microphone and
Yep.
state your name and tell us what you want to talk about.
And you can
Tattoo
sign, you
parlors.
can write your name on the form there. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy.
I own a commercial building in Red Oaks Mills at the Four Corner intersection, and I have one vacancy. It's 6 units, commercial, beauty salon, Salisbury Bank is one of my tenants, and suite number 4 is vacant. It was a barber shop. And he got in trouble with his wife and a divorce and stuff, so he moved out.
You told them to talk. That's great.
All right. Now, I had 2 people come and look at the space. The space is 1,200 square feet, 20 by 60. and they want to lease the building, but the zoning does not permit a tattoo parlor in the town of Poughkeepsie. So when my wife and I drive around, we see tattoo parlors, 5, 6, 7 of them all over the place. I mean, it's not an illegal thing to do. It's not illegal. It's just something that the town has determined no tattoo in the town of Poughkeepsie. What the reason is, I don't know. So what we're asking is to get permission to allow this tattoo people. It's a man and a woman. They're both young, and they've been in business for quite a few years. I don't know how many years, but they've been in business as tattoo people for quite a few years. As far as my knowledge is, they don't have any criminal history. So they're not illegal aliens or nothing like that. So they're quite nice people, a man and a woman, and they want to lease the building, the space, and they're willing to remodel it into something nice for tattoos. And I don't know what the board would be thinking about, why in the town of Poughkeepsie you can't have a tattoo parlor. When the city of Poughkeepsie, you probably got 10 of them all over the place. Fishkill, Wappingers, they're all over, you know, but town of Poughkeepsie, no. But Red Oaks Mills is my building is in a four-corner intersection right at the red light
Yeah.
there.
We're all familiar with
So
that.
it's
Well-kept
very
property.
visible to customers. And it's my opinion they would be successful and pay me the rent, which I'm interested in.
Right.
Let me try to help you
I don't
through-
want to do tattoos myself. I just want the rent
Yeah.
coming to me.
Let me try to help you through this part. On tonight's agenda, as you said, we haven't had tattoo parlors before. There's a couple that were grandfathered in. We are putting them in 2 zones tonight. One happens to be Arlington, one happens to be Business Highway, which is not your zone. But we can't change that. This has been advertised at this point. We can make a decision on this tonight. I would say your best effort is, the gentleman standing over there is a second ward councilman. Get his information and discuss that with him, because we can't change what's on this agenda now. Would be a major change. We have to re-advertise the whole thing.
Actually, Jay, that's in my ward. Oh,
Depends upon which building it is.
yeah.
They might-
Yeah, no,
alright.
it's on that side of the road,
All right,
that's fine.
You can reach out to Ann,
Yeah.
and Ann will give you her information, and you can talk to Ann, and, you know, she can talk to you about it, because we can't change what's on tonight's, because it's
Yeah.
been advertised legally and everything right now. And I agree, tattoos have changed the ways from the,
Yeah, and
way
this
they were
is
thought
actually
about.
to allow tattoos to come in 2 zones of the town.
Yes.
Right, so when would be the best time to talk to you about it?
Anytime.
I paid the town of Poughkeepsie today $750 for a man in this building. He does fire inspection. And he came to my building, and I met him at 1 o'clock, and we went through all the units, and he was inspecting all the fire
Yeah.
stuff. And
Thank you so much.
he gave us all the approvals
Yeah.
for all the units.
We don't think it's a bad idea. It's
So,
a nice
I
building.
gave-
Talk to council.
I gave him
Yeah,
the
and
$750.
actually, I supported you too to get the dog shampooing in there.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
because she
They're
moved from
doing-
Arlington,
The dog?
because,
Yeah,
yeah, the dog. Shampooch?
Yeah.
Shampooch, yeah. She
Yeah.
was in Arlington, and she wanted to move into your
Yeah.
space because it was
Yeah.
bigger and very nice place, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had to work with zoning too to get that
Yeah.
done, so yes.
That shampooches is a lot more dangerous than a tattoo. Those dogs are barking, running after you, wow, 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 wow. You know, they're dangerous, these dogs.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a timeline that we would be looking at, or is it something way down the road?
Oh, no, we're hoping to get this done quickly.
Okay,
Okay.
so we
Thank
have
you.
your card.
Yep, you have my
and
card.
we
Give me a
will-
call.
We will contact you, and thank you all for
Thank
being
you.
so patient.
No, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for coming in.
Is there
Thank
anybody?
you.
I'll get him out of here now.
No, that's fine, that's
fine.
fine, that's fine. Is there anybody else that would like to discuss tattoo parlors? If not, make a motion.
Do you want to adjourn this, Jay? Were you going to adjourn this?
That's what I'm
Oh,
working
yes.
on.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this to June 1st, due to we're still waiting for a response from our planning board, which will be
From the
meeting after our next meeting, and Dutchess County Department of
Yeah.
Planning.
Thank
Like to
you.
adjourn this to June 1st. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn to June 6th.
That's the hearing that's adjourned, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Pardon me, yes.
Brings us to public hearing number 2, the stormwater annual report. Like to make a motion to open public hearing for stormwater report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Doreen?
Yes, thank you. I intend to be submitting written comments specific to each report section, like I usually do every year. But I also just wanted to mention that one part of the report states that 126 listserv members were notified of the report availability. And I'm a listserv member, but as of today, I still haven't received any email notification by the town's stormwater contact about the report's availability. Now, of course, I knew it because I attend town board meetings regularly, and when this was first talked about, it said it would be posted, and I looked for it and I found it. But the point is that the report, annual report, should not say that people are being notified if that's not taking place.
Okay,
And the other brief comment I'll make to keep to my 3 minutes is that, again, I think improvement is needed regarding inspection and monitoring of construction sites in the town, as well as enforcement, especially when there's repeated infractions. And oftentimes when you look at the monthly inspection reports, you'll see that the same issues are identified month after month. So again, I think that we need to be striving to improve the inspection and monitoring of the sites. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. Is there anybody else that would like to discuss the stormwater report?
No.
No? You don't have a resolution on this, Jim? Or we don't need one?
Do you want to close it and then read it?
Oh, pardon me, should
Right? Should close it?
close the public hearing and then read this?
Right.
Pardon me, I was working on something else. Yes.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Renningham?
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the draft stormwater annual report prepared by the town of Poughkeepsie Director of Municipal Development, and be it further resolved that said report has been filed in the town clerk's office for review and comment by any interested party, and has been posted on the town's website. And be it further resolved that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on April 21st, 2022, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on April 25th, 2022. And be it further resolved that on May 4th, 2022, a public hearing was held at a regular scheduled meeting of the town board. And be it further resolved, the public review and comment period ends at 4 p.m. on May 13th, 2022, when all written or oral comments are to be submitted. And be it further resolved that the town board does direct the Director of Municipal Development to review the comments and prepare for filing the final report, which is due June 1st, 2022. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. That brings us to the end of our public hearings. Mr. Carlos?
Resolution number 3.
Yes.
Resolution number 3. Whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, by resolution 11:17-number 12A of 2021 and next, authorized the supervisor to apply for grant funding through the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC, under the New York State Water Infrastructure Improvement Act, WIIA. And whereas the town of Poughkeepsie has an identifiable need to conduct infrastructure improvements to the pump station at Spackenkill Road. And whereas by letter dated April 25th, 2022, from the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, on behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul, the town of Poughkeepsie has been awarded $691,904 for said improvements. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor and his designees are hereby authorized to execute a grant receipt contract and other such documents as may be required to be executed. So moved.
Before we vote on this, on the second line, it's not apply, it's accept. The supervisor to accept grant funding.
Okay.
We applied for the grant, we accepted already.
So this is for the exception, accepting it.
Yes. Made a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Jay, this was all on you.
Yeah, this is our,
Okay, the second line, okay, are you referring back to the original resolution?
why'd you come out
No,
with a
second
different?
line of this one.
It says,
Right.
authorize the
Right.
supervisor to apply for grant funding.
Yeah,
But that was,
that described that resolution, but third paragraph down says we've been awarded it, so
Oh, all right.
it is correct as written.
Is it? Okay. And so what we're doing is
Oh, all right, I got you.
authorizing the supervisor to execute
I'll
the
take that
receipt
back. Yes.
to accept it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, my mistake. I stand corrected. All those in
And-
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And Jay, on this,
Second.
this is all on you. You did this.
No, this,
And this is the pump station where we get the complaints
With Spackenkill
continuously
Road.
about the smell of sewers. It's the bad pump station.
this is a $7 million project as of today. And this is on our DEC consent order, which probably goes back 5 or 6 years. And we're supposed to have it done, I think, in another year. And this is the second grant. We just received another grant last month of $4 million, $4.2 million for this. So far we've received almost 5 out of $7 million.
wow.
They don't just hand out $5 or $7 million. Somebody has to go get it.
And the fact
Thank
that
you.
it's under DEC consent order was a helping factor on this, and it's a pump station that's probably 40-some years old that definitely is in need of repair.
So did you make an amendment to correct it and then amendment to uncorrect it?
No, I never made an amendment to correct it. I just-
We never voted on that.
Okay, good. So it's just leaving it as is.
stands,
So it's
yeah.
just adopted, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So Ann
No-
Berger actually.
Number 4 is just a notification of historic landmarks in Route 44 Dutchess Turnpike, milestones 3, 4, 5, and they're all listed below to refer them to the Historical Preservation Committee.
All right.
On to number 5.
Resolution number 5, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Michelle Turk to the position of part-time Deputy Zoning Administrator with the Zoning Department at Grade 7, Step 3 salary of $26.3572 per hour, effective May 10th, 2022, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Whereas the town board, town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application from Marist College to include a fireworks display at its Marist class of
22.
This has got to be 2022. The
No,
event will be
it actually says 2020 on the application.
I know, but that's just because they cut and paste because they do so many fireworks. So
Oh.
I did get a corrected one from them, but I just forgot to print it out. So I have it corrected.
Fireworks display at Marist class of 2022 event to be held on Friday, May 27, 2022, and whereas the applicant has notified the Fairview Fire District, and whereas a certificate of liability insurance has been filed with the town clerk, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application as submitted for a fireworks display to be held on Friday, May 27, 2022 at 9 p.m. on Marist College Riverfront Property, 3399 North Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? The only thing I will say, that may be 2020, because some of these colleges, Vassar and Marist, are both doing multiple graduations for the years that they couldn't do them during COVID. So it's possible that
I was thinking that too. I
Yeah.
said it could be one of the ones that got.
it is. Yep.
Oh, okay. Stand corrected. Class of 2020 and any old classes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Should we read that one?
Yes,
Ann-
Stefan, or?
No, Ann, do the next one.
I can do the next
Yeah,
one.
he doesn't have it from.
Okay. Whereas the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received applications submitted by Holy Trinity Church to hold an event called Holy Trinity Spring Festival located at 779 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York on June 2nd, 2022 through June 5th, 2022. And whereas the presence of food and or booth vendors is a vital part of a successful event, now therefore be it resolved the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does not include food and or booth vendors participating in the Holy Trinity Church Spring Festival event as peddlers and hawkers, and these vendors are thereby exempt from the provisions of Chapter 151 of the Town Code, and be further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive all permit fees relating to the Holy Trinity Church Spring Festival at 775 Main Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, on June 2nd through June 5th, pursuant to the request from the Church of Holy Trinity, dated April 14th, 2022, a copy of which is attached, and be further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application of Holy Trinity Church to hold a spring festival at 775 Main Street on June 2nd through June 5th, 2022, contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of liability naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured, and be further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive the open container law. In the event alcoholic beverages are to be served at this event, with all other state laws remaining in full force and effect. So moved.
Second?
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Whereas the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie has heretofore received an application submitted by the Dutchess County to hold an event called Dutchess County Health Fair located at the J.C. Penney Building, 2001 South Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, on June 11, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now therefore be it resolved, the town clerk is in receipt of a certificate of liability insurance naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured, and be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie has hereby approved the application as submitted for said event to be held on the above-mentioned dates. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application of Crunch Fitness to hold Crunch Fitness 5K to benefit Habitat for Humanity of Dutchess County on Sunday, May 15, 2022, location of which run is from Crunch Fitness through Crown Heights and back to Crunch Fitness. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is in receipt of a certificate of liability insurance naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 10. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby acknowledge receipt of a request on behalf of Delicious Catering, Inc., 30 Vassar Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for a waiver of the 30-day review period for a liquor license application. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the town clerk's forwarding of a waiver and consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint the following individuals to the Town of Poughkeepsie Public Board of Examiners for terms ending December 31st, 2023, to wit, Ron Diaz, Kevin Etz, Pete Sotero, layman. Be it further resolved that the Town Board reappoint the following individuals for terms ending December 31st, 2024, to wit, Ann Shershin, Steve Eckelman, Albert Cimarelli. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the town of Poughkeepsie was awarded a $95,000 grant through the Dutchess County Community Block Grant Program, and said amount will be used for installation of a new fully accessible playground at town's Schaefer Road Park. And whereas the estimated cost for the installation is approximately $389,839, which minus the $95,000 grant leaves a balance needed of $294,839. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the encumbrance of $294,839 from the Recreation Trust Fund for a new playground at the Town of Poughkeepsie Schaefer Road Park. And be it further resolved that because this action involves a non-residential facility replacement involving less than 4,000 square feet of floor area is a type 2 action requiring no review under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, no, I'd just like to state that this is one of our oldest playground areas, and this is a really good thing that we're doing.
And I
to get
think
this-
it's going to be close to one over Rocker Road and have one on
Yeah.
each end of the town on both highly visible roads. I think it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
And that
It's gonna
number.
really improve that parking down there. It's
Yeah.
just a mud hole down
Yeah,
there.
it is. It's not, it's, building
Yeah.
the handicap accessible playground is one piece of it, but it really has no park
Lights
there.
down there. I mean, it's a nice place to watch
Yeah.
a game too, but it has been in need of repairs for a long time.
They're gonna fix parking?
Yeah, we'll fix the whole park. Yeah. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie by Resolution 216-SC number 3 of 2022 authorized a temporary water storage agreement in the amount of 50,000 gallons with the Town of East Fishkill, and has been advised that the needed storage amount is in fact 100,000 gallons. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute on behalf of the Town of Poughkeepsie an agreement for water storage capacity with the Town of East Fishkill for temporary storage of 100,000 gallons for storage and 175,000 gallons for use in substantially the form annexed and as acceptable to the supervisor in consultation with the town engineer, water department, and attorney of town, and be further resolved that entering into this agreement represents part of the ongoing administration of the Town of Poughkeepsie affairs and involves no change which would create a substantial adverse environmental impact, and this is a type 2 action requiring no secret review. So moved.
So before you vote on this, the supervisor asked me yesterday about confirming that the 175,000 gallons for use is not coming from the town, but it's in fact coming from Dutchess County Water and Wastewater. Correct, Jay?
Correct.
Okay.
All those in favor? Number 14, be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby established a standard workday for elected and appointed official, which shall be not less than 6 hours per day, and also for employee positions per attached Form RS 2418, and be it further resolved, the standard work week shall be Monday through Friday, and be it further resolved that the following is a list of the elected officials with their expiration date. John Baisley, Supervisor, 12/31/23, 8 hours. Jeff Renahan, First Ward Councilman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. William Carlos, Second Ward Councilman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. Ann Berger, Third Ward Councilwoman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. Michael Safone, Fourth Ward Councilman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. Stefan Krakauer, Fifth Ward Councilman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. Ann Shershin, Sixth Ward Councilwoman, 12/31/23, 6 hours. Kelly Tremper, Receiver Taxes, 12/31/25, 8 hours. Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk, 12/31/23, 8 hours. Mark Pfeiffer, Superintendent Highways, 12/31/25, 8 hours. Paul Sullivan, Town Justice, 12/31/23, 8 hours. Edward Gable, Town Justice, 12/31/23, 8 hours. And be it further resolved, the following is a list of the appointed officials with their term expiration date. Charles Emberger, Comptroller, 12/31/23, 8 hours. Jennifer Mund, Assessor, 9/30/26, 8 hours. Joseph Cavalieri, Police Chief, 12/31/23, 8 hours. Be it further resolved that commencing May 30th, 2022, the elected or appointed official, if participating in the New York State retirement system, shall have recorded and certified, or will record and certify, if not in the timekeeping system, his or her work activities for a period of 3 consecutive months, which will include matters outside the normal working hours for the purpose of actually attending to official duties, including to responding to an emergency, attending an employer-sponsored event or meeting with, or responding to members of the public on matters of official business. Be it further resolved that said record shall be completed within 150 days of taking office, shall be submitted within 180 days as to meet the time frame above to the clerk of the governing board. So moved.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, so this is typically done in January, but I'm just trying to get it all done correctly. So I just took another class on it. So this is just you guys, stating what the work hours will be. And then by May 30th, if you don't need to give me a calendar because you're not new, you just have to recertify. As long as you're in this retirement system, some of you are not, so you won't need to. But then we'll have one more resolution with that stuff shortly. That's
Okay.
been, just trying to explain it to you. So there's a few people that need to give me a new calendar or certify, and I'll bring the paperwork at the next meeting, May 18th, or, before the 30th, if you can get me the,
Okay.
okay?
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Number 15 is a notice of claim, Feinberg Friedman versus the town.
Number 16, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit: set date for a public hearing, Code Amendment Chapter 210, zoning and addition of Chapter 145, music, outdoor music. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second. Made motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Mr. Supervisor, do you want to leave some room for the board to make modifications to this when it comes up?
Yes.
Okay. Would you want to then maybe ask the clerk as part of this to advertise and put in a clause that said modifications may be made, rate distance from sources, and amplification at adoption, or no?
I don't know if I consider that a major change. It's just a small tweak. That's your advice.
Pardon me?
I said, I would take that, your advice. Do you think I think it's a small change. We're changing there's 50 feet in there now. If we change it to 50 or to 100, or we go by square foot of property space or something, I think that's just small changes. I don't think they're big changes.
I think they might be small, but depending on what the board decides to do, I think if you ask the clerk to include that clause in the advertisement, then nobody can say
That
you
works.
didn't have notice.
That works.
So if somebody wants to read this, I can read that clause again, if the board wants.
Okay.
I think we should do it.
Yep. So read it again?
No, read this one, the resolution, right?
Right.
Special
Well,
consent.
actually, let me add
I'm
down at number 2,
Huh?
just while you're looking at what you got.
Yep.
The town board hereby sets a public hearing on the proposed amendments for June 1, 2022 at 7:00 p.m. And the notice therefore shall include reference to the fact that there may be modifications, rate the distance from sources, and amplification upon adoption. And then I think everybody has notice of what the board may or may not do,
Right.
but you're not getting pressed, if you will, into making a decision tonight.
Right.
All right, thanks,
That works.
Jen.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. That brings us to the end of the agenda. I'd like to make the motion to suspend the rules for any item relating to the town at all.
Don't we have to read SC1, or
We just did the,
we just did the SC thingy?
Should I read it? Well,
Yeah.
Oh, not to be a wise guy, yeah, it'd be a good idea
Yeah.
to read it.
Yeah.
right?
whereas the town board has received a recommendation from the Director of Development that local law amendments be made to Chapter 210 entitled Zoning to allow outdoor music in certain zoning districts, and that a new Chapter 145 to be known as Outdoor Music be added. And whereas the proposed amendments are annexed hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein as if recited verbatim with the words underlined to be added and those words stricken to be deleted, and the town board does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they in fact had been read verbatim, and whereas this action to amend the zoning law is an unlisted action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and an environmental assessment form is annexed hereto, and whereas the town board has determined that the proposed amendment must be referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development and to the Town Planning Board for review and recommendations, and whereas the amendment requires a public hearing, now therefore be it resolved that 1, the town board hereby states that because only the town board can consider and adopt changes to the town code, that is the only involved agency, and the board hereby declares that it will conduct the environmental review of this action pursuant to Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, and 2 was read by the attorney just before. 3, the town board refers this matter to Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development for a recommendation pursuant to GML 239M. And the town board refers this matter to the planning board for an advisory report pursuant to Town Code Section 210-154. And the town board directs the town clerk to notify the town clerks of each of the surrounding municipalities of the public hearing pursuant to GML 239NN. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second? Any more questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Now it brings it to the agenda. Sorry about that. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item at all. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody that would like to bring up anything at all?
Doreen?
Okay, thank you. Okay, first thing I'd like to talk about is something called No Mow May. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised to see, I had an email from Adams Fairacre Farms advertising something called No Mow May. I had heard about it, and basically what it is they're urging, it's a movement across the country where they're urging people to try to leave your lawn unmowed for the month of May because it's beneficial for early season pollinators like bees. And even just leaving a portion of your lawn unmowed or mowing an edge only is helpful if you're trying to make it look nicer. But when the email from Adams came out, they said that their garden center manager was going to give it a shot because he wanted to do the right thing. So if a garden center can promote something called No Mow May, I think that's a good thing. So I'd just like to bring that to people's attention, and you may want to give it a try, and even for part of the month if you can. Now the second thing I want to talk about is our assessment for our house here in the town of Poughkeepsie. So our assessment went up 37%, and that's not with any improvements to our house. And we've been at 100% assessment, at least for the last several of our assessment letters that I looked at. So I don't know why. We were told that the average was about 20%. I don't know why ours went up so much, but I think that's an issue. And I know that sometimes you say, well, that doesn't necessarily mean your taxes are going to go up, but it can. And even though the town board says, they're doing their best to keep taxes down, there's other taxing districts, such as the Arlington Fire District, that aren't doing a good job, in my opinion, when it comes to keeping taxes down for residents. So it is concerning when your assessment goes up $83,500 in 1 year.
Doreen, I reached out today, and as I stated to you last night, reach out to the assessor. I'm not going to say everyone's right, everyone's wrong. At least we can try to find out in your situation, what's going on. And I don't want to get in the middle of one personal assessment, but I did tell Jennifer that, you were concerned about yours, and she said to just please have her reach out to her office directly.
Thank you. And the other thing I'd like to say along these lines is, again, I brought this up sometime last year. I think it was maybe June before the town board. And I know you're updating the zoning code, but there is an Airbnb on Colburn Drive Extension in our neighborhood. that basically, in my opinion, is being allowed to operate as a commercial lodging in a residential R20 district. It's a non-owner occupied building. It's rented out every night. If you look at their calendar, it's been going on for about 18 months now. And it's clearly, at least in my opinion, not residential when you have people renting out a house night after night that the owner does not live in. The rates start at $500 a night. It's a 2-night minimum. So essentially, this is a business that's not being taxed or regulated as a commercial use, and it's operating in a residential district. And it doesn't appear that it's a permitted use or a special use. So I don't know why this is being allowed to to happen. And Jay, can you give me an estimate when, if and when this is going to be addressed in the update to the zoning code?
Doreen, I don't know what that date is. I will find that out, but I was more interested in the email you sent earlier today on the fact that it's operating at all like that. So I did put in a call to zoning at the very end of the day to talk to her in the morning and see what's going on, because reading the code in the chapter that you quoted, I agree, Doreen, it's something that does not belong there. And it does not look like it's allowed there by special permit or non-permit. It's just something that's not allowed in the town at this time. So I will talk to her in the morning about going out to that. I wrote the location down.
All right, and if I have a few more seconds here, I just want to say that I don't have anything against people using, like there's somebody at the other end of Colburn Drive that advertises a room in their house, but it's an owner-occupied house and it's only, one room, they're living there. I don't have an objection to that. My objection is to, renting out an entire house, night after night, and when you don't live there. And that was my concern. So
Is it booked up?
yeah, if you look online, it's pretty much booked out through the end of the year.
Yeah. We'll
So-
get on that, Doreen.
And it's $1,000 a night?
No, $500 a night, 2 nights.
Well, 1,000 because it's a 2-night
500 a
minimum.
night, 2-night minimum.
Yeah.
Right.
$1,000.
Well,
Yeah, she
our
said-
assessments went up, Doreen. Maybe we just should.
Yeah. And the thing is, if it's done through Airbnb, the county does get a little bit of something, but it doesn't make it a legal business by doing that. So, it's definitely something we've been thinking about when we're going through putting a plan in place, Doreen, that these unoccupied or ones are something that we'd have to think twice if we even want them at all. Owner occupied, at least you're being a little more cautious about who's living in your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because this is the only one we know about. I mean,
No, there's other
There's
ones out there.
others,
Right.
but most
Well,
of
I mean, they're
most of them
happening
are
all
just
over
one
as well.
room or
Yeah.
for like a weekend night or something.
Right,
I've
like-
never heard of one.
We had a couple.
Full-time.
We had a couple. One of them was on Wilbur Boulevard, and we took care of that one during COVID, and ended up with just medical staff come up for the hospitals, and we're staying there. So it was a little bit different in that case, but
Right.
that one turned into a party house a couple times. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, and just so you know, I mean, at night, especially when it's a nice warm night, if you have your windows open, you can hear people, outside, talking, laughing, whatever. So, it definitely does change the character of the neighborhood, especially when they advertise that it, sleeps up to 10 people. And also that house has a septic. So, I don't know, is it being inspected and regulated as far as, that's concerned? So there's a lot of things involved in this, and I'm glad you're going to be looking into it. Thank you.
thank you, Doreen. Is there anybody else?
Not that I can
No.
see.
Make a motion to resume the rules? All in favor? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night.